Denda ita munhu wekuharare. Ina handisi munhu wekuharare. Ndiri munhu wemuZimbabwe. MuZimbabwe ndine midzi. Midzi dziri magutu. Magutu kune midzi. Midzi dziri machiwara. Machiwara kune midzi dziri machikwati. Anje mapanzisepa. Saka muti unoonekwa nekwaunobva. Notenda zvikuru vakuru vehurumende nebasa ramaita kubatsira musha wedu. Zvine zvakanaka. Toda kuti pano pasaitika zvepoto repolitics. Ngapangova nekuremekedza. Tonzwa hurumende mashoko ayo. Tonzwa kuti zvinhu zvedu zvinome muchi. Zvinhu zvedu zvifamba zvakadini. Ndokutendai vana chirani. Ndokutendai mambo.
Magadi Muria Zimbabwe, Sanbonani. Thank you so much for joining. This is a news review, one of your favorite programs. We are broadcasting live right here on ZimEye. We are also on ZimEye YouTube, and we are broadcasting live on Change Radio and Change Radio YouTube channel. Thank you so much. And today, joining me, we have leader Barbara, our National Women Assembly spokesperson, and we also have leader Sophie from Sweden, and we have leader Estella from Finland to help us discuss all the issues, the news that happened this week on Change Radio and other news channels. Leader Sophie, if you can take a few minutes to take us off and greet our viewers and listeners.
Leader Sophie, what on? She dropped.
It looks like Leader Sophie is having network challenges there. Leader Barbara. Leader Barbara is having mute problems.
Oh no.
Leader Estella, you can go ahead.
Oh, thank you, Chief. Warm welcome to you all, Change Radio listeners. Whether you're joining us from Change Radio or our Facebook page or our YouTube page or the ZimEye Facebook page or YouTube page, we warmly welcome you all to this edition of News Review.
It looks like it's me and me alone here. But anyway, we will keep on keeping on. We will keep going.
I'm back.
Make things happen.
I'm back.
You can go ahead.
Yes. Thank you so much, Chief Soshe. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Zimbabweans from wherever you are. Lingabe litshona njani mthwakazi omuhle emagumbini amane wonke omhlaba. Sesihlangene njalo uhlelo lwethu News Review lapho esicubungula khona indaba akade zisenzakala iviki yonke le ephelileyo. Sisakaza siku-Change Radio la ku-ZimEye. Makadi Muria Zimbabwe, Mamka say, Maswera say. Sibuya lapha namhla siqalise ngendaba eka President Nelson Chamisa lapha ahamba khona emfeni kogutu lapha alahlekelwa abantu laba ababhubhayo
izihlobo zika President. Into that, Leader Barbara, let's allow Leader Estella to just greet our viewers here. Then we can go into the news review. And then Leader Barbara, I'm coming after you. I'm coming for you. Let Leader Estella. Leader Estella, please go ahead. You dropped before you greeted our viewers and listeners.
Can you hear me now, Chief? Yeah, it looks like Leader Chief Estella, doesn't hear me.
Leader Sophie
Leader Barbara, can you hear me?
But, yes, you can go ahead.
All right, okay. So
welcome. Looks like they're having network challenges, but let me go after my national leader here. Viewers, panapa chief panenya dautanga viewer panopa dare nas because I can't believe this is happening. There are 3 ladies on this platform, including a national leader. Nobody bothered to say Happy Father's Day. GBV, gender-based violence. We need to fix this and then. Otherwise, news
mamanya stereki.
Aiwa,
Magenga. Magenga. Makurumizisa.
Cheating. Yes, that's better now. That's better now.
Okay, leader Stella Morosai vatere.
Okay, thank you, Leader Barbara.
Please.
All right.
Chief Avaskusizothi ndiri kutaura. Warm welcome to you all Change Radio listeners from wherever you're
You
joining
can go
us.
ahead, Leader Barbara. Leader Estella, we can't hear you.
Yeah.
Leader Stella is talking, Chief.
Oh, okay. So it's on my side.
Yes.
Okay. I'll give you a signal.
Yeah, okay. Thank you. Yes, welcome to this edition of News Review. And once again, we have an interesting lineup of stories to review with you. Hope you will find our edition of News Review today informative, if not at the least entertaining. Please do stay around and stay with us. Thank you, Leader Barbara.
Yes, thank you so much, Leader Estella. Yes, welcome back, our viewers and listeners. Let's see, Kuti, so far before I get into our issues, before I say Happy Father's Day, Chief. Pana
Yeah.
Veronica Dzokora, pana sisi pana vatete, hanzi mukanya. Hanzi mukanya vamwene vazvo vane tribalism vari kumhorosa chief yega. Hanzi naDrain Brian Zanu vakomana so. Barbara Chitsva, hello. Yes, how are you? Frank Zulu, how are you? Modi Hall, Happy Father's Day. Soswe, uri kunzi Happy Father's Day, Chief Soswe. Hanzi taura henyu, Chief Soswe. Jim Mukurumbandi, hanzi Happy Father's Day, varume. Hanzi naVeronica, Happy Father's Day baba wangu. Emelda Kundishora, hanzi Happy Father's Day. Hanzi Maswera say tiri kukuonai tiri pamuzansi. Thank you so much for that feedback. Tendai Banono, hanzi yadi Zanu, macities ari kutongwa neZanu here. Yes, macities ari kutongwa neZanu. If you didn't know kuti macities they are under local government, don't pretend to be ignorant for nothing. We all know what's happening in those councils. Lee Jack Com, Jamai Mira Anzi, Jama Mirana sei futi anwekani chichocho ini zvangu chichocho izvo. Hanzi naHilda Nkomo, Happy Father's Day machinja edu. Thank you so much. Yes, we would want to take this opportunity as Change Radio and Zim I to say Happy Father's Day to all fathers, especially to Chief Soshe who is here and our comrade who is behind the scenes there, although he's not yet a father. Happy Father's Day. Happy Hanzi, happy Grandfather's Day kuna Chief Soshe. Also would yes, would also want to say
this is the present I got from one
that's
of my
nice.
daughters. Yeah,
That's nice. Happy Father's Day, Grandpa. It's like now the duties have been doubled. The duty of a father and the duty of a grandfather. Thank you so much, Chief. Would also want to say Happy Father's Day to our big father, President Nelson Chamisa. Happy Father's Day, Comrade Chamisa. We love you. Anzi ne North America. Happy Father's Day, the People's President, Baba wenyika, ubaba welizwe lonke. May God continue to give you wisdom and strength to save Zimbabwe. Amen. Thank you so much. Happy Father's Day, Father Zimbabwe. Yes, today being Father's Day, this is a very special program in the sense that we are reviewing our news at the same time celebrating all fathers. Not only fathers are Chief, but we are only celebrating good fathers, responsible fathers. There are some fathers who are not fathers. We are not celebrating you today. We are celebrating real fathers who are responsible, who know how to take care of their families. Yes, our viewers and listeners, our first story today is the the funeral, the Gutu tragedy funeral, where 5 members of a family perished in a road accident, and that family happened to be a family where President Nelson Chamisa comes from. It's like anzi ndeve umambo, it's a Gono a clan. I think we also know that President Chamisa is a Gono, so they are very close to President Chamisa. So we saw an incident whereby ZANU PF, not the government, it was turned to be a government assisted burial, but we know that ZANU PF cannot distinguish between the government and ZANU PF. So they wanted to politicize that burial, and they wanted to block President Chamisa from attending that burial. But he would want to thank this family, Chief Sose, who said, no, Nelson Chamisa will attend this burial because he's part of the family. And we also heard about the speech. Waka presented a very good speech, Chief, that was very uniting, whereby he acknowledged everyone who was there, including ZANU PF officials and government officials and the chiefs who were there. And the Takaona Pachitwa separation, I liked that, Chief, because we saw the president separating the powers to say Kuti is a state sponsored funeral. Also, the ZANU PF was also there as a political party, and MDC Alliance was also there as a political party. So ZANU PF and MDC, they are all under the government party. Ukada kutarisa zvinonga zvida kuitwa neZANU would want to take advantage and think kuti ivo ZANU ndo government, whereas there are two separate issues. That's why we always say kuti mapurisa, masoja, prison officers avafaniri kutora masides. They are not supposed to beat the citizens, but they're supposed to protect them because they are civil servants who work for the government. It's like when the police beat the people, Chief, it's like they'll be beating their bosses because vanohora mari yemataxes. Vanhu vavanorowa ivavo ndo vari kuhoresa mapurisa, which is very unfortunate. So we saw that funeral, and we saw President Chamisa vachigashirwa zvakanaka. After delivering the speech, we saw people ululating, and I'm told kuti vanhu vezano vakazobva vachitiza because vakanga vaona kuti President Chamisa vagashirwa zvine mutsindo. Thank you so much. Over to you, Chief Soshi.
Yes, thank you very much, Leader Barbara, for that story you dealt with very well. But just to add on to what you said there, we have reports that say that ZANU PF just paid a paltry $500 to the 5 people that died in that accident, and then they were very quick to call it a state-assisted funeral. The money that they donated, that they gave to the family, was not even anything to write home about. I'm also reliably told that President Chamisa actually did more than what the government did, because apparently President Chamisa is a relative of the family. So he did the little that he could do in his personal capacity, not as MDC Alliance, but as a relative of the families. And it turned out that what he contributed was even more than what the government did. You know, so we are seeing here a government that wants to take advantage even of people's funerals, and then they write big headlines that it's a state-assisted funeral, as if they've done, you know, anything that deserves such kind of headlines. It didn't, and they actually released a high-powered delegation, you know, to accompany the paltry $500 that they had given to the family. It's pathetic, and I feel sorry for a government like that taking advantage even of funerals. That's very unfortunate. Leader Estella, are you in now? Are you able to speak?
Oh, yes. I would like to add on to what Leader Barbara said, that, you know, government is not only ZANU PF, but MDC is in government also as opposition. In countries where people understand development, they actually value the presence of opposition as part of government, because opposition represents the other perspective to governance, which allows for new ideas, different ways of thinking, and different ways of looking at things. And so the contribution of opposition in government is actually valued very much in other countries, and that is why they actually pay opposition parties money to be part of the government, so that, you know, when two people have different views, they, you know, they bring up the weaknesses and the strengths of each other. So the job of opposition in government is to point out the weaknesses of the current governing system, so that we can see together how to develop our governing system and to come up with a better and a stronger system, and to develop our countries better. But I think we had a video of President Chamisa's speech from the funeral, and I'm just going to play that before we move on to.
Muzimbabwe ndine midzi dziri magutu kune midzi dziri machiwara, machiwara kune midzi dziri machikwati. Ane mapanzisepa saka muti unoonekwa nekwaunobva. Notenda zvikuru vakuru vehurumende nebasa ramaita kubatsira musha wedu zvine zvakanaka. Toda kuti pano pasaitika zvepoto repolitics ngapangova nekuremekedza. Tonzwa hurumende mashoko ayo, tonzwa kuti zvinhu zvedu zvifambe muchi zvinhu zvedu zvifamba zvakadi. Ndokutendai vana chirangu, ndokutendai mambo.
Over to you, Leader Barbara.
Over to you, Chief.
Leader Barbara, I didn't hear what Leader Stella was saying. Leader Sophie, you can go ahead.
Thank you so much, Chief. Good evening, Zimbabwe. Good evening, the rest of the world, and good evening, Leader Barbara and Leader Estella. I just came in now, and we are watching the video from the Gutu funeral. Can you hear me loud and clear?
We can hear you. You can move on to
Yes,
your topic that you wanted to discuss.
Thank you so much. I'm not sure where we were, but I just came into the studio as we were watching the funeral from Gutu, where President Nelson Chamisa attended.
Yes,
we had finished that. Maybe you can go ahead and bring another new topic.
You can go ahead with your comments about that.
Okay, thank you so much, Chief. What came into mind, or what stuck in my mind with that video, was the response of the populace, the general populace, the citizens, to President Nelson Chamisa's presence at the funeral. I'm not sure if the video showed the response that he got from the gathering, which was overwhelming, and which is a clear testament of what the people of Zimbabwe are feeling, and which is a clear testament which shows us where the people of Zimbabwe voted for. That the 2018 election was a stolen election, and the people's hearts are really with the MDC Alliance and President Chamisa. So it was heartwarming. It was, I would say, a welcome move from the people's president, just going in to show his condolences with those families that were affected, who were also in mourning. Vanga vachichema, kunochema nevanga vachichema, kungoratidza umwepo nevanhu, kuratidza kuti ndi president wevanhu. So, you know, this is what really touched my heart, and what touched a lot of hearts of the Zimbabweans. So this was just my 2 cents on the funeral. Also, just another issue that came in later on, I discovered that two of the affected, two of the deceased actually were a fiance and a fiancée that were planning their marriage. So that was quite a sad funeral, that people who were planning their future, people who were planning to get married, and unfortunately met their demise at this accident. So really, our hearts go out to these families, and we just want to pass our condolences as well as they are in mourning, and to tell them also that we are with them, as with President Chamisa, that we are with them in mourning.
Yes, thank you very much, Leader Sophie. Talking about funerals, talking about Father Zimbabwe, our young Father Zimbabwe, President Chamisa's presence at the Gutu funeral. We go to another father, but this time Father Zambia. We lost a hero, we lost a legend, we lost someone that even deserves to be called Father Africa. Dr. KK, Kenneth Kaunda passed away this week. And you know, the rest of the world came to a standstill. There are a lot of good things that we can talk about Kenneth Kaunda, but I'm gonna give the time to Leader Barbara to just talk about this hero, Kenneth Kaunda.
Okay, okay. Thank you. Can someone mute? I think it's Stella.
I am muted.
Yes, please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Chief. I think the most interesting part about the death of Dr. KK is we all know that he ruled Zambia for 27 years, right? Which also turns out to be KK was also sort of a dictator. But what makes him a hero now is that when the elections were held and he was beaten by Chiluba, he didn't refuse to give power to Chiluba. He respected the outcome of the results, and that's the first time when we saw an opposition leader who was coming from the Labour side leading Zambia for the first time. So KK had governed for 27 years. But what now makes him a hero is he was able to peacefully hand over power to Chiluba, which was a noble thing, which was something that we didn't see happening in Zimbabwe during the times of Robert Mugabe and even at the time of Emerson Mnangagwa. So KK died at 93 years, Chief, and these people are so blessed. And I don't know kuti isusu tichakwanisa kusvika here kuma age yayo kuti look at Mugabe, he died very old. Now this one he died very old. One wonders kuti what was the secret behind that? Because their job of being a leader of the nation is strenuous, is stressful. But here we are. We have people who died died when they were very, very, very old. So this is what I can just say, Chief. Inini ndopa ndikutoona kuti he ended well. Otherwise, if he had not relinquished power, he was just going to be a laughing stock, just like Robert Mugabe.
Yes, that's very true. That's the distinction between him and the other dictators. He did transfer of power. And to me, that's huge, that's big. The highest level of democracy, the epitome of democracy that ZANU-PF purports to have in Zimbabwe, is when someone loses an election and they concede and they transfer power. Here in the United States of America, that's the bedrock of their democracy, that they have always transferred power for the past 240 years that American democracy was introduced to the world. And what was about to happen during President Trump, when he was almost refusing to hand over power, was going to be a tragedy to the world. So for that, Comrade KK, we call him a hero because he did something extraordinary, something that leaders in Africa can't do. We have never seen it happening so easily like that. So we say rest in peace to Dr. KK, and hopefully the leadership, the so-called leaders in Zimbabwe, will take a leaf out of that and begin to transfer power. To those who are just joining us, we are on news review, and we are looking at all the news headlines that are made the Change Radio News, and also on Zimai, and also on the other news networks. That's what we are discussing. Please share this video with others so that we can reach out to as many people as possible. Let's move on to the next topic. Is that your topic, Leader Barbara?
The June 16.
June 16.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you so much. I thought Chief was going to play a video. Yes. Thank you so much. The way you did it, I thought you were playing a video.
Okay.
Yes. We also saw the news on the 16th of June. It was the Day of the African Child. I think we all know by now what happened on this day. It was when during apartheid era in South Africa, when the school children decided to go into the streets demonstrating when they were sick and tired of this apartheid. And the main reason why they demonstrated is because they were being forced to learn Afrikaans and English, and they wanted to their Bantu languages to be taught in schools, and yet the Boers didn't want that. So these students decided to take that upon themselves. And I still remember when this was happening, I was young, but when during my school days, during our school days, when it was apartheid, that's when we were learning about this incident where students took up into the streets and demonstrated, and they were saying enough is enough. And I remember the other reason why they were demonstrating, that they decided to take it upon themselves. They were saying their parents, they were busy drinking beer in the beer halls whilst the country was burning, whilst they were being their rights were being violated, whilst the white men were busy abusing them. So they were angry. They were angry that the whites were taking the rights from them, and they were also angry with their parents, whom they said they were just seated. And then I just thought of the situation here in Zimbabwe to say, are we not doing exactly the same like what the South African parents were doing? So they decided to ban all the beer halls and also ban the schools. And also, I think about a total of 200 students were killed on that fateful day on June 16. That's why we are remembering that day. The reason why it has become an Africa Day commemorated in Africa is because during apartheid, all the African countries, the Southern African countries, were helping South Africa to attain or to gain its independence. And I'm yelling for that. I'm yearning for that time whereby we also come together, because Africa is also mad with dictatorship. Where I'm also longing for that time when opposition leaders all around, all over Africa will come together, Chief, and free Africa, because we are not yet free. Africa is not yet free. If you look at what's happening in other countries, there's still no independence, but yet they claim they are independent, just like in Zimbabwe. We attained our independence in 1980, but we are not yet free. So I'm praying for that time, Chief, when people, the African opposition leaders will come together and fight this system, because I think these people, they just got the same mindset of looting. They don't want to develop their countries. All they want is to enrich themselves, to fatten their pockets. They don't want to end corruption, because they themselves are the ones that are corrupt. So I'm praying for that day where Africans, opposition leaders, will come together and fight from one front.
Very, very true, Leader Barbara. June 16 is about the youth movement, the youth are rising against apartheid. And like we were saying yesterday with the MDC Alliance youth leader, we look forward to our youth in Zimbabwe rising and, fulfilling what Dr. Mutavo Konkomo said, that Zimbabwe is not going to die. The young people in it are going to save it. What happened on June 16 in South Africa sparked the revolution in South Africa. It sparked an armed struggle in South Africa. Let's hope something like that is going to happen in Zimbabwe. I have no doubt that that is going to happen. It's going to happen. Leader Sophie, do you want to say a few words on June 16, or you want to move on?
Just to add on a little bit to what Leader Barbara said, Chief. Taking it back to when we were just discussing about the late Dr. K.K. Kenneth Kaunda and how the leaders of that era managed to have lived for so many years. He passed on at 97, Robert Mugabe at 1995. But what strikes me when we talk about the Day of the African Child and the June 16 celebrations is that in 1976, is this old guard that were the youth that were fighting for freedom, that were fighting to be unhooked from the chains of apartheid and of the old governments. And unfortunately, what then happens now is that when we have gained independence, because they have fought as the youth and were given independence, a lot of them now, because they are corrupt and of the mismanagement and misgovernment, they are what is blocking the youth, or what they are giving the impression that the youth can no longer do what they have done as well, which is continue on the trajectory of fighting or continuing for the freedom and also for the development of Africa. So I think it's a paradoxical situation where we have the old guard, who were the youth in 1976, who fought for independence and who are trying by all means, through corrupt and unethical means, to stay in power and stealing, and not giving the opportunity to the youth of today to rise up or to lead as well as they did from the 1976 uprisings. But I am happy, I'm comforted, because we have organizations like ZINASU that are coming up and coming up strong. And I think if they carry on that path, I think our future is in good hands. So the best we can do is to support the youth, and the best we can do is to give them that platform that they can continue to fight for Africa's development.
Yes, thank you very much, Leader Sophie. Now we're moving on to two big issues that we want to tackle here. Because there's an issue that was sparked by Afrobarometer. I think you have been seeing the statistics that they've been throwing around. They throw you around some very good statistics that you run with, but in between there, they also threw in a certain statistic that I was not happy about. They were predicting Emerson Mnangagwa victory. They actually said that if elections were going to be held today, Emerson Mnangagwa would win by 36%, and President Chamisa would get 27%. That's a prediction by Afrobarometer. I don't agree with that, and I know millions of people do not agree with Afrobarometer. And I'm going to take a few minutes here to walk you through what is happening here. If you can remove what is on the screen right now. This is very important, and I want Zimbabweans to understand what is going on, what ZANU-PF is doing. ZANU-PF Yes, companies that they pay in the United Kingdom and in the United States of America, public relations companies that do what is called social engineering. You know, Emerson Mnangagwa kills people on August 1, you know, daylight, and everyone sees it. And then these public relations companies, they go to the US Congress, they go to the British government to try and make it as if it wasn't Emerson Mnangagwa's fault, it wasn't the government's fault, it wasn't ZANU-PF's fault. That is what is called social engineering. They're trying to play around with your minds, with organizations' minds, so that they think that Emerson Mnangagwa is a good person. When he says that he's as soft as a wool, everyone believes. So here in America, we've done the research. He is working with a company that is called Ballard Investments, and he pays them $1.2 million every year for him to do that. And he also has another company called Mercury Investments that is based in Washington, D.C. He pays them. And then there's another one called Alliance, whatever. It's also based in Washington, D.C. All these companies are being paid in excess of $1 million for them to do that job and that job alone. And these companies are then the ones that contract or contact people like organizations like Afrobarometer, you know, to come in with these fake statistics. It's a fake statistics. There is no way Emerson Mnangagwa can win a free and fair election in Zimbabwe. Even Vice President Chamisa tikaisa ani, Emerson Mnangagwa cannot win an election, let alone with someone like President Chamisa. So these statistics, they are just meant to cover up for the rigging that they are going to do or they want to do in 2023, because they'll be saying an international organization said Emerson Mnangagwa was going to win. I'm going to go further, I'm going to go deeper and prove to you that this organization is fake. Its statistics are fake. They predicted during the Ugandan election that Museveni was going to win by a landslide. We all know that in all fairness, Museveni, murderous as he is and the kind of a leader that he is, he cannot win an election. He would never have won an election. So you're seeing the trend here. Afrobarometer is used by African dictators, you know, to falsify numbers, to falsify statistics, so that when they eventually rig elections and win, you know, it becomes or it looks legitimate. In 2018, before our elections, Afrobarometer made another prediction again, saying Emerson Mnangagwa was going to win with a landslide or with a wide margin, a big margin against President Chamisa. I think if you remember very well, you saw that prediction. But what happened? We all know what happened. We know that President Chamisa actually won the 2018 elections against the prediction of Afrobarometer. Even if we want to go with the results that ZANU-PF and ZEC later doctored, Emerson Mnangagwa did not even win by a landslide, as Afrobarometer had predicted. You know, it was just a margin, a small percentage that they said Emerson Mnangagwa won with. Even up to today, we don't even know how many votes Emerson Mnangagwa garnered in those elections. I'm just trying to prove to you here that Afrobarometer is fake, very fake. They are mercenaries. A mercenary is someone who is given money so that they do harm to another person. They are doing harm to Zimbabwe right now. They are a bunch of mercenaries.
I think we're losing Chief there.
Yes, I think we are losing Chief there. Maybe what Chief was just saying, Leader Sophia, is that ZANU-PF uses propaganda machinery to lure people, or maybe
They made
to
another shocking. The network is playing.
Yes, go ahead, Chief.
I think it's back. Yeah.
The network is bad. Okay, let me quickly wrap this up. In 2018, again, Afrobarometer made another shocking prediction, or statistic. It wasn't a prediction. They researched and said that Zimbabweans are happy, or Zimbabweans trust the army and the police. It's there on internet. This is factual. You can go, you see it. It was a prediction. It was an undertaking by Afrobarometer. It's out there on internet. And you look at yourself and you ask yourself, how on earth can a normal Zimbabwean trust the Zimbabwean army, trust the Zimbabwean police, people that are butchering people in the streets, that are butchering our relatives, our friends, our vendors, anyone who dares to criticize them? They are either killed, or they are abducted, or they are arrested arbitrarily. And they came up with these shocking statistics that Zimbabweans trust the police and the army.
We continue losing Chief Shoshe there. There's a comment by Vitalis Kawadza who is saying, guys, either way, the Afrobarometer says 52% did not indicate who they will vote for. That speaks volumes. The same Afrobarometer said Mugabe would win the 2008 polls, but akadamburwa won. Yes, that's very true, Vitalis, and thank you so much for sharing that information with us. If they said the 52% did not indicate who they will vote for, so that speaks volumes. Maybe Chief is we've lost Chief there. I wanted him to comment on that.
Is it my
That
network
Chief,
only, or it's
it's your
everyone?
network. It's your network, Chief. There's there was a comment there by Vitalis who said the same Afrobarometer said 52% did not indicate who they will vote for. Can you comment on that one?
That's what I was saying, that they throw in some goodies in between, but the biggest damage would have been made, would have been done. Their objective here is to alert the international community, to alert the regional community that Emmerson Mnangagwa still has the capacity to win elections. That's their objective. That's what they are trying to tell the world. So they can put in a lot of good things, a lot of things that seem believable, you know. But the biggest thing is that they are saying Emmerson Mnangagwa can win an election. But Emmerson Mnangagwa cannot win an election even against a grade 7 pupil. He can't win an election. Terotikaiza gudo apo. Mukanya atakavaisa apo. Mnangagwa hawine. Vanhu vanoenda kunovhotera gudo. That's what I'm trying to tell you. And that's what Afrobarometer is saying here. So to Zimbabweans, as I conclude, please do not be defocused, like what Malema said. Do not be defocused by this report. Imimenda imuno register to vote. Just go and register. Go and register to vote, and also plan to go and vote. Forget about Afrobarometer. They are a bunch of terrorists. They are a bunch of mercenaries. They are just being used by Zanupf. They are just being used by African dictators to confuse everyone. Leader Barbara, you can take one.
Whilst we are there, Chief, whilst we are talking about voting, there's an issue that our viewers raised, and I know we're going to touch on that, but since you have spoken about voting, the viewers were saying, Kuti, did you see Hopewell Chingono's tweet whereby you are saying, Kuti, we need to help MDC Alliance sponsor the polling agents, and you are saying, Kuti, can if each and every one of us play our part and stop blaming Nelson Chamisa on the day of elections, then everything, I think, would have owned the processes together. You are saying, Kuti, stop passing the bat to the opposition. We know Kuti, we've got one strong opposition party that we believe is gonna save us. So why not help that party? Because we know they've got no money, their money was taken. So Hopewell launched an initiative to say who are prepared to sponsor polling agents. And whilst I was following Chief, people were very eager to say we are going to sponsor the polling agents. Even Papa, on this program, I saw two people. Your Mkanyares, Veronica said she will sponsor one, and also there's someone else who said she's also gonna sponsor one. So if we take this initiative seriously, Chief, and record all these people, we have to record them. They have to give us their details. Everyone who's willing to help, they give us their name. Like on this show, I'll take the name of these two, and then on the next show, I'll take the names, and then when we are ready, then we'll tell them what to do. I think the worst mistake that we can do is to just leave these people on this show and then we forget about everything. So we just need to do the right thing at the first instance. Thank you.
Iyo inyaya iyoyo inotodadarirayo chaiyo leader Barbara. We're going to do a program on it. That's what we'll be talking about next week on Padare and Chief. We need to sit down and make everyone know that we all have a role to play. We all have a responsibility. The time for us to be blaming, pointing fingers at Nelson Chamisa, at the MDC Alliance, that time is over. It's now time for you to look at yourself and ask yourself, what are you doing? What role are you playing yourself to ensure that there's freedom and democracy in Zimbabwe? Usaite basa rongonongedzera vamwe Chamisa wacho akanyarara MDC yacho yazodai. No, this is beyond the MDC Alliance. This transcends individuals. The issue of election transcends President Nelson Chamisa. That's why even himself, he said, this is not about MDC Alliance. This is not about myself. Let's converge as Zimbabweans. Let's all come together and work together and ensure that we remove ZANU-PF. And that cannot be a duty of one person. So next week, that will be the topic of discussion. Those who want to join, those who want to help or donate to sponsor one election agent, be ready tomorrow. On next weekend, we'll be coming down, writing down the names, coming up with our own database. We need 40,000, and we can't fail to get 40,000 people in the diaspora. That's something that we can do. The biggest archival zeal that we have had as MDC Alliance is we fail to put election agents in some areas because we don't have the resources. That cannot be blamed on the MDC Alliance. That should be blamed on every Zimbabwean who is able and who is capable. So this time around, let's make a difference. We have started very well. We have done very well because we are starting these things 2.5 years before the election. And that's good. That gives us enough time. So let's leave that for next weekend. We'll be discussing that. Another burning issue that came up, the brutality of ZANU-PF when they started destroying people's livelihoods, destroying people's houses, destroying people's tuck shops. Zimbabweans don't have anything. They survive on buying and selling. And that's how they've been surviving these past 20 years. But ZANU-PF comes down, bulldozes those houses, bulldozes those tuck shops without any due notice. And the little that the people would have invested on is also destroyed along the way. Is there anyone who wants to take this up? Because I can go on and on. This just makes me mad. It makes me angry. I'll tell you the reason why ZANU-PF is doing that when someone has come in. Is it Leader Sophie or Leader Estella or Leader Barbara who is going to go first on this one?
Leader Sophie, you can go ahead.
You're quite right, Chief. Thank you, Leader Barbara. There is the unemployment rate in Zimbabwe is just ridiculous. Almost 100% people, out of formal employment. The only way people are surviving, putting bread on their tables, is through, kuzhishandira. People are vending. People are doing, having their own businesses. So then when we go and we bulldoze and we destroy these people's livelihoods, it's really insensitive, inhumane. Kushaya hunu. um, and also because it affects people. People have taken the little that they have to try and make a living, and so we're creating mental health ticking time bomb, where people are now getting into depression because padiki paangainapo paari kuraramisa vana vake patorwa padhiridzwa, and no one really cares. No one goes to look at it. We've got the youth crying out. Vari kuti vanga vambowana pekuti vanotengeserawo here and there. Now they're turning to Mutoriro, to Guka, to crystal meth. We've got even, the mothers. There was an issue from last week in Chitungwiza, Bambudzi roundabout in Harare, in Bari as well. The MDC Alliance issued out a statement through Advocate Fadzai Maere on the insensitiveness on kushaya kwe government, kuti government iri kushayisisa, and to the point yekuti vanono destroy a simple livelihood yevanhu kuti vangorarama to get their day-to-day living. But what is really concerning for me is that they have targeted my centers or my areas where there's a lot of opposition support. So it's like a punishment kuti makavotere pasiri pa pe Zanupf. And also, to put a lesson into these people, whether they want to kuita vachiroma vachifuridzira kana kuti vanoda kuti votai pasiripo or whatever. But it's really a sad situation where you have a government that comes in and punishes its citizens who are trying by all means. We've got makomita omnibuses and now windi vakatorwa mabasa havasiri kumabasa because makombi akatorwa, and vanenge vakuedza kuti vowelda wapa woitawo something otorerwa livelihood. So for me this is really a sad situation because a lot of Zimbabweans, almost everyone I know back home, ari kurarama nekuzvishandira.
I think it's also a way of intimidating people as we are going towards the 2023 elections, to let them know kuti this is what we are doing now. So zivaipe kunovhotera, mukanonozviita futi after the elections, what will be coming towards you. So it's a way of intimidating people so that they are afraid to go and vote the way that they would really want to vote.
That's very true, and it's also ZANU-PF have strategists. They have people that they pay, that are in offices to just strategize on how they can confuse Zimbabweans. So here, what they're just trying to do in another way, over and above what our leader Estella and leader Sophie have said, they want to get the people of Zimbabwe to blame MDC. Politics toti kusvibisana. Vari kuda kusvibisa MDC kuti vataura kuti ma-councils ari kurhanwa ne-MDC. Saka MDC ndio iri kupwanyira vanhu zvinhu. Vari kuda kusvibisa zita re-MDC. Ivo vari kuzviziva kuti hazvisiri izvo. Chokwadi chiripo ndechekuti it's ZANU-PF. We all saw what the statement from that other idiot who is ZANU-PF Tafadzwa, he actually announced it, that they were going to bulldoze those structures. He said it, and they even went to court. I mean, it's obvious that it's ZANU-PF that is starting up, generating these issues, so that the MDC alliance can be blamed. But we have nothing. The MDC has nothing to do with what is going on. The MDC is a party of the people, by the people. It understands that the people are suffering, and it's suffering alongside the people. MDC nototamburawo ndosaka chitadza kuisa vanhu ma-election agents nokuti kutotamburawo. ZANU-PF haitamburi, vane mari, they have millions. That's why they don't even feel for the people, because they don't understand what suffering means, and that's why they are saying that. Leader Barbara, if you can just explain to the people here that even though the MDC Alliance is in control of the councils, they are not responsible for the ruthless destructions that we are seeing.
I think you have just explained it very well, Chief. And also, we saw the MDC issuing a statement distancing themselves from that thing. We are people oriented. We are a proper party. We will never do such a thing, Chief. If given an opportunity to govern this country, we will first offer alternatives, and then destroy if we think it's an illegal structure. Even President Chamisa also issued a statement on his Twitter handle to say, how can an illegal government purport to be destroying illegal structures? So you see now, it's not an issue of the MDC alliance, Chief. We are not a part and parcel of that distraction. And also, Chief, on issue like issue polling agents, I'm seeing people they're taking the leads. People are saying uh, people are saying they are willing to help. Chief, in 2018 elections, I was in Zimbabwe, and I was a chief election agent, President Chamisa, in the Nketa constituency. I also trained polling agents in Harare. I was a trainer of polling agents in Harare. And what I witnessed, Chief, is there were no resources for polling agents to travel from different areas, like the trainers to be trained. It's like we're supposed to train trainers. So the trainers, some of them, they failed to pitch up because there were no the training was not funded. There was no money. So at the end of the day, we were overwhelmed. We're then supposed to go deep down kunana uzumba tichinotraina polling agents, trainers angasina kuya. So you can see how difficult this thing is. And also, Chief, I think civil society vari kutiregerera. Civil society, they are supposed to train polling agents. They're actually supposed to come kuti tipei polling agents enyu tikutrenerei, because they've got resources. Those people are given the resources for elections. Vanonyora proposals vachiti varida kuita elections, varida kutraina chichi, but at the end of the day, we don't even know how where if they train or if they don't. So it's like since we are doing the citizens convergence, I think it's now high time we should be all responsible and not blame MDC. I am glad kuti Hopewell has brought this. Dai tanga tirisu takazviunza, Chief, they were going to say mazvona watanga MDC yatanga. I'm glad kuti Hopewell as a citizen has seen it fit kuti let's train, let's help MDC sponsor the election agents. And by so doing, Chief, we will find kuti will be able to field polling agents in every polling station because of tingetani ma resources.
Thank you very much. We've slightly gone back to the issue of polling agents. It looks like this is a hot issue, and we will continue to talk about. I'm seeing here Gogoanata is saying, I'm thinking of presenting myself as an election agent. That's one thing that we can also do. The people in the diaspora can actually present themselves and volunteer to go to Zimbabwe during that time, take a month off from work or 3 weeks off from work, and go to Zimbabwe and become an election agent. And you don't even, people like Leader Barbara here, who were, election agents, who were trainers of election agents, can train people in the United Kingdom, and you can even do it online. You don't have to physically go there and talk about what needs to be done there. And then you go to Zimbabwe, maybe a week or two before the election, you get all the information that you need on the ground. I mean, my personal experience, pandakaenda unovhota ndakaona vanhu kuwedza my-election agents vakaoma muromo Leader Barbara nenzara vasina kana chavambodya the whole day, and you expect that person to do something. One of them had actually left early, whether it was because he was hungry or not, but that's how it happened, and those people were never paid. takatodzokera growth point kutonotanga kunotengana nemabhanzi nechii nemafresh chips kuya kuzopa vanhu vadonedza apa vadonedza apa vadonedza apa. But those are things that we can talk about well ahead of time in advance, because it's very simple. Someone can you need $100 to feed maybe 10-15 people. It's so easy kuti Zanupf irige vanhu kana kuti ipe vanhu mari vanenge vaine nzara. Politics dzedumbu kuZimbabwe ndo dzinotikanganisa, but it's something that we can fix ne$10.
Rega tipindure Dazzler moyo wewanjanja uyu uisei kuti ndosaka muchiona isu tisingaiti zvematongerwo enyika. Manje usafunga kuti wakangwara. Hanzi if you don't do politics will do you. So uri kutoitwa wakapusa spirit. Don't think kuti you are clever by you are displaying your ignorance, because if you don't do politics will do you. So uri kuitwa nepolitics, and you don't have a choice, you don't have a say. And it's like Chief, he now whether he's a he or he's a she, he reminds me of the other. You remember when we voted and the elections were withheld for the results were withheld for 1 month? When was it? 2008? Was it 2008?
2008
or 13?
2008.
13.
2008.
Is it 2008?
Yeah.
Yes. You know what?
Yeah. Mm.
Yeah. We were at work, so we voted per weekend. So when we went to work, we would see munhu akavhota nemunhu asina kuvhota, and then we're asking kuti, why didn't you vote? Hey, inandita nyenzo kwepolitics mina ndikati uri kutoshaina uri kutofunga kuti zvinosha kutonoza kuti hauiti zvepolitics. That's ignorance, my dear. You must not say that in public. That's ignorance. That's the highest level of ignorance. So what then now amused me, Chief, is when the results were not released, the people who didn't vote were the ones who were now asking about the results, who wanted the results. And then I said to them, whose results do you want? Because you didn't vote. Results isusu takavota. We are not worried about the results. So why are you worried about the results when you didn't vote? And one of them came to me and confessed to say, what you told us, yes, it was harsh, but I think you were telling the truth. Now from next election, I'm going to vote.
Yes, if you don't do politics will do you. Leader Estella, you
can I weigh in on this one?
Your issue. The next topic.
I would just like to try and explain to people like Dazzler Moyo kuti vaone kuti kupusa sei kusaita zvinhu zvepolitics. Zvakangofanana nekuti vanhu in your neighborhoods moisa durawall around your neighborhood, and it just so happens muneighborhood menyu mune oil, mune gold, mune madiamonds. Mopota muchibvisa mari muchiisa in one place, mari muchiti aiwa iyi mari iyi ndeyekugadziridza neighborhood yedu kuti tive nemagetsi, tive nemvura, tive nechii, vana vedu vave nechikoro nemahospitals nechii. Konzi ngatiitei committee, ngatiitei meeting yekudecide manje kuti mari idzi tinodzishandisa sei, achadzibata ndiani, achadziita sei. Iwo woti ina handiite zvepolitics, handiende kumusangano wakadaro, wogara kumba kwako. Vamwe woenda kumusangano vonobvumirana kuti idzi mari idzika ngatiisei kuarea iyo kwausingagari iwewe, vanoisa kuarea kwavo kwavanogara, nokuti haupo you're not there to represent your own interests. Saka madecisions achaitwa ipapo, even though haupo, achakuaffecta, and most likely anokuaffecta in a negative way, because hapana munhu anoita zvekufungira mumwe kuti but kuna nhingi ari kumba ane mhuri yake anonidawo kuzotransport yekubva ikoko achienda uku. Vanoorganiza zvavanenge vainazvo zviri patable. And so that is what it's like when you refuse to take part in politics. Wakangofanana nemunhu anoramba kuenda kunoita influence decisions anozoaffecta life yako. I hope that can help kuti munhu akadai anzwisise.
Yes, hanzi vasingazive ngavadzidziswe. You can go ahead, Leader Estella, and talk about the next topic that you have. Is it Nyaya?
Okay, I was going to talk about...
Yes, go ahead.
I was going to talk about Nyaya Ronald Mukumbira, who passed away on the 10th of June. what happened to Ronald Mukumbira is he was at the bar of Elias Mudzuri, who is the vice president of MDCT. And I don't know, maybe some kind of commotion arose there, and then he was beaten up really badly and taken to hospital and eventually home. But when he got home, he told his mother that he had been assaulted by Elias Mudzuri and another relative of Elias Mudzuri and some other people who were on the scene. And after some days, he couldn't speak, and on the 10th of June, he died. And what followed then is that the relatives of Mukumbira, they took his body to Elias Mudzuri's homestead in the rural areas, and they dumped the body there because the mother had been told that these are the people who were responsible for the death of her son. So they took the body there, especially because there were no police investigations that had been made so far. But then the shocking thing that happened that followed that is that some of the relatives were then arrested by the police for dumping the body there, and they were ordered to go and collect the body from there. And I wanted to talk about this story because to me it speaks more of the inhumanity of the ruling party, who are in cohorts with MDCT. And just because the person who's responsible for this crime is the vice president of MDCT, he was not arrested, he was not questioned, and instead of them being, brought to justice, the victims are the ones who were further victimized. They are the ones who were arrested, which is pretty much the same in line with what is happening to Joanna Mamombe, Ngadziore, all these youths who are being arrested for complaining that the government is not doing its duty, for complaining that not only is the government not doing its duty, but they're actually depreciating the lives of the youth, destroying their future. So they are victims to start with. But when they stand out and they complain, the response of the government is to arrest them. And the same thing here. The victims express their discontent, and the response is to arrest them. And this is something which is, for me, it's really, it makes me very angry that something like this can happen in our country. It's something that I think should not happen anywhere in any country. And over to you, Chief, if you have something to add.
Yeah, no, thank you very much, Leader Estella, for that. I don't know if there's someone who want to comment on that story. We are now racing against time. We'll try to squeeze in the last topic that we have here. The South African Opposition Party, Economic Freedom Fighters leader, Julius Malema, continues to be an advocate against xenophobic attacks in South Africa. I like this man, the way he talks and protects and tries to protect every African is commendable. I wish we could all be like that. Is it Leader Stella again or Leader Sophie?
Yeah, I actually have a short clip. Do we have time to air it or?
Yeah, please go ahead and play it.
Much we are being made to fight small battles in the township. Remove these spaza shop people. Remove these illegal people. And then what? We can remove those people and hire all of you. Unemployment will still be high. It's a drop in an ocean. You are being made to, they are defocusing you. That's how they operate. They will never defocus me. I'm a child of Steve Biko. I love a black skin. Everywhere I seen a black skin, here in South Africa, in the continent, even in the diaspora, Agifita America, Kibona, a black person, that's my sister, that's my brother. That's what we must do. Why? self-love. When you love yourself, you love the next black person. Comrades, let us not engage in barbaric acts against ourselves. We must tell them, don't count us in. If you are able to provide protection for our sisters and brothers, please do that. This country belongs to them the same way Nigeria belongs to us. Don't say, hey, when we go to Nigeria, we don't behave the way these Nigerians are behaving. I want a passport to start with. Ofita yang Nigeria wanama. Asanga wa Nigeria, asanga wa zama. Mara orbuja Nigeria, arli Nigeria are behave so. Ngoyo zame Nigeria. Rebono rukaskire singwenyana na. Ubuye upalage. There are a lot of opportunities in Africa. Colonialism of a special type that was coined by the ANC made us to think that we are better than Africa. There are a lot of opportunities in Africa. West, they trade in dollars. They pay in dollars. Vugadaki. Amanda! Amanda! Viva, Yeve, viva! Viva, Yeve, viva!
Yes, Chief, I have a lot of respect for this man because it takes a lot of...
Leader Stella.
Oh, can you hear me? Yes, it takes a lot of guts to stand up for the truth when it's not popular, as is the case in South Africa right now. Most of the South Africans who are below the poverty line, they think that foreigners are the ones who are responsible for their poverty. And right now, for a political leader, it is not the popular thing to say that we should not attack the foreigners. A political leader who is an opportunist will take advantage of the situation and propagate this rhetoric that foreigners are the ones who are responsible for all our problems. And it can gain them a lot of popularity. But Malema is not choosing to go down that road. He's standing for the truth that he knows, that it is not the foreigners who are creating the issues in South Africa. Those issues were there before the foreigners even came in there. And another thing that I like about Malema is that he is very smart. He understands what the politicians are trying to do here. They are trying to use what the divide and conquer method for their own benefits. They divide the people into foreigners and South Africans, and they gain popularity that way. But he's telling them that don't fall for this trick. These people, they don't care for you. They are not saying this because they want you to get the jobs. They are only saying this because they want you to vote for them. And that is something that a message that needs to be heard by our people also in Zimbabwe, that ZANU-PF is constantly sending out divisive messages to make people think that MDC is responsible for the sanctions, to make people think that MDC is responsible for all the problems in Zimbabwe, Kudirajecha as they call it, to make them think that MDC is the one which is destroying, people's livelihoods in the urban areas. These demolitions which they are doing make people think that it's MDC and keep us divided. They are also dividing us according to class. They don't target the middle class neighborhoods. They are targeting the highly densely populated neighborhoods, so that the people who are in the middle class neighborhoods think that it's not their problem. They don't get involved when people's tuck shops are being demolished because they think that it doesn't affect us. And they actually start to think that, of course, these people, I've heard people say those tuck shops are illegal structures, they are health hazards. And these are people living in the affluent areas of Harare. And this is ZANU-PF playing this divide and conquer game on us. And it's time we all woke up and realized that we are all being used at their behest. When they please, when they want your vote, they say what you want to hear. They do what you want to see. But they can turn around still and attack you when it serves them. So it's a very strong message for us all that, let's unite. Let's not allow ZANU-PF to continue playing these divide and conquer tactics on us. Thank you. I don't know if there's anyone who'd like to add.
Yeah, very, very true, Leader Estella there. As we round up, Leader Sophie, your last words to the people of Zimbabwe listening on Change Radio and here on Zimai.
Thank you so much, Chief. The last words as we are rounding up, just to take from Leader Estella that let us wake up, let us be wise, let us refuse to be used no longer by this regime who are just out there to use us to gain votes and for their own, advantages. I mean, I'm happy we've got leaders like Leader Netai Maroba, we've got Sarkozy, Stephen Chuma, we've got Obesitole, who are almost, I look in them and I see Julius Malema in those young leaders. So I'm happy we have those young leaders. We're in the right direction. Let's keep the momentum going. Let's register to vote. Let's go out and vote, and let's take this regime out. Remember the number to vote, to phone, free phone, to ask for information and register to vote, 08080219. We can do this, Zimbabwe. Thank you so much, Chief.
Thank you, Leader Sophia. Leader Barbara, your last words.
Thank you so much. My last words is I just want to share with the viewers and listeners that our revolutionary singer, our comrade Paul Madzore, is going to launch a new album very soon on the 29th of October. Comrade Madzore is launching a very powerful album, so let's support him. Can you pin the YouTube channel? Let's support him. The CD is only $3 and they can send it online. There's also his number where you can put on EcoCash so that they can send you music. Please, 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 please. Let's not piracy this music. Let's support our own. I salute Paul Madzore. Chief is one person who has remained resolute from the onset, and imagine he's been singing and getting nothing out of those songs, and yet people who were downloading his music were the ones that were getting money. So it's not fair, honestly. Let's support our very own Paul Madzore, who sings from his heart. These our chingairas of this day, our Simon Chimbetus of this day, our Thomas Mapumos of this day, our musicians that are very, very resolute, unlike vanonzi vanani vavo kuti hanzi pasina chamisa mwana wachimbetu Sulu. Some musicians of today, most of them, they lack focus because they dine with the oppressor. Inindoziwa kuti music kudhara yaishandiswa as a way of spreading music, spreading the word during the war or during apartheid. So I don't really know kuti ma celebrities edu ari kurasika papi, Chief. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much, Leader Barbara. Zimbabweans across the world, we have come to the end of our program. Let me take this opportunity to thank you, our valued followers on Change Radio and also on ZimEye. Thank you for the support and thank you for being here. We don't take it for granted. We appreciate you. Let me thank my co-presenters here, Leader Sophie, Leader Estella from Finland, Leader Barbara in the United Kingdom, and of course our team behind the scenes that have been bringing on all those videos. And right now, as we finish, we're gonna listen to a song from the legend Paul Madzore. Until we meet again, Zimbabweans, take care. And it's a happy Father's Day. Murugona Chief Naswagaroa, happy Father's Day. Happy Father's Day. Right.
Happy Father's Day to all the dads. Happy Father's Day, Chief.
Yes. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Nasi is valid.